What's up guys, Citybug here, and in today's video I'm going to be covering all the basic tools and basically recipes in the game Survival 303 Classic FE. So let's jump right into it. The first recipe that I'm going to cover is the basic weapons in the game. Let's start off with a battle club. Now I have actually gone over this recipe in my beginner's guide, but we'll go over it again here. So basically, to make a battle club, we're gonna need one tree stump. So clicking it on your hop or the forage button, we're gonna forge ourselves one tree stump. So we're gonna get out one tree stump for our handle, and I'll just have another one ready to go, but basically, in our crafting menu, we just click that tree stump, and then we click create item, and then it pops up this menu with handles. So we got a large handle, a medium handle, and a handle. So for the battle club, you're going to want to click the large handle. So with that large handle, we get it out of our backpack, and then place it down on the ground, and then clicking our crafting menu, we'll just pop that open again, click create tool. So we'll click the large handle, then click create tool, and we'll get ourselves a battle club. Now a battle club deals 18 damage, and if I go over here and attack one of the bentos, it'll take 4 hits to kill it. One con about the battle club is if you're a zoom in player and you like the FPS in Roblox, and that's kind of how you fight, the battle club literally will take up like a third of your screen. The next weapon I'd like to cover is the stone spear. So basically this is like second basic weapon, I suppose. So to craft this, you'll need a medium handle, which you craft by getting a small tree stump, crafting it in the crafting menu. Then you'll just click create item. So with that medium handle, you can just place it down on the ground, and then get yourself some stone. So we're gonna need cut stone. So the recipe for cut stone is 2 stone. Craft those together and then click create item, and you'll get yourself either a boulder or a cut stone. So cut stone is for weapons and a boulder is for buildings. So now that I got myself some stone, I'm going to place those down, getting them out of my backpack. Click both of them in my crafting menu, and then I'm going to click create item and then click cut stone. So like I said, cut stone is for tools and weapons. And now in our crafting menu, we can just click medium handle and cut stone, and you're just gonna click create tool, and you'll get yourself a stone spear. And you may have noticed when you click create tool, it shows a stone spear or a stone javelin, and you can choose either one. The javelin is basically just thrown, and then of course the spear just stays in your hand. Now the spear has 20 damage, so it just does 2 extra damage than the battle club. Alright, so the next tool I'm going to show you guys is the stone pickaxe and stone axe recipe. So let's say that I wanted to get some iron, or I wanted to chop down a large tree. Basically, you're going to need some stone. And as you can see, if I come over to this iron, I can't forge it. So the only way that I can get iron and like other ores in the game is if I have a pickaxe. And depending on the pickaxe, you have to have a stone pickaxe to mine iron, and you have to have an iron pickaxe to mine coal and other useful ores. So, getting out my tree stump, I'm going to create a regular handle, just a handle. So, just click a tree stump, click create item, and you get yourself a handle. And then I'm going to get myself some stones out, and I'm going to craft 2 stones and click create item, and get myself a cut stone. Alright, so getting that out of my backpack, I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to go back to my crafting menu. I'm going to click the handle and cut stone, and then click create tool. And I can get either a stone pickaxe or a stone axe. In this case, I want a stone pickaxe. So I'm going to click the stone pickaxe, get my stone pickaxe out. And basically with every tool, you have to wait 1 second for it to equip before you can use it. So to use this pickaxe, I basically just gotta click the iron, and it'll either say success or failure. And as you can see underneath my mouse cursor, it shows a little rectangle, and it's white until I use it, and then it'll turn green, and it has a little short cooldown we have to wait before we can use the pickaxe again. Alright, so we picked up all the iron, with your pickaxe, you can also pick up these little stones, and then there's a large boulder in the middle. To make a bucket, I showed also in my beginner's guide, basically you're just going to need a bush stump, which you can forge from a bush, and then you'll need 2 small leaves. You'll craft those into woven leaves, and get yourself a rope after crafting the woven leaves with the create item. Then you'll combine those together, the bush stump and the rope, and then you'll get yourself a bucket. Now I'm going to show you guys an oil filter. So I'm going to make a crude oil filter. You're going to need a bush stump, a hemp, and a rope, and you'll click those and click create tool. Now for this recipe, your crafting skill level needs to be 3. So I've gotten my skill level up now. I'm going to get my items out again. So remember, it's just a bush stump, a hemp, and a rope. And you'll combine those together in your crafting menu and click create tool, and it'll get you a crude oil filter. This oil filter is used to basically filter our oil, like the name says. It's pretty direct. So basically you can go over to the oil spills. This is one that's by Plateau and Flax, and just click forage and click the oil, and it'll literally just forage it that way. You can stand on this oil too. It's like an actual tangible thing, so you're not gonna fall through and like logically, but you know. And then if I come back over to Flax and place my oil down, you'll notice if you have over it, it says crude oil. So I'm just going to take out my crude oil filter, click it, and then it'll start to filter it. And basically my mouse cursor will keep the green and it'll have a cooldown. So basically it's filtering the oil, then it'll say resting at the bottom. There we go, it said resting. And then I can just get out another crude oil bit and then just click it again with my oil filter once it's done filtering the previous oil. There are many uses for oil. The biggest one I would say is a light source. So I can craft a lantern, I can craft a crude oil torch, or I can just craft an oil torch. So I'm going to show you guys the most basic torches. So basically you just need to get another handle. Remember, it's just one tree stump, create item, get yourself a handle, and get yourself one of your oils. So basically not the crude oil, it needs to be filtered oil. So get that out, and then get yourself a woven leaves out, and we all know how to craft that, so I'm going to skip that. So basically in your crafting menu you need the handle, hemp, and oil, and then click create tool, and you'll get yourself an oil torch. Now there's actually one more torch that is more basic than this one. You're just going to need another handle and then woven leaves, and you'll click create tool and you'll get yourself a crude oil torch. And this one is nice if you don't have any oil. It's a really good early game light source. Now I'll show you guys the lantern. So the lantern is the best, most deluxe light source in the game. And what you're going to need is a handle, oil, not crude, it has to be filtered, and then a piece of glass. So to get glass, we have to cook sand. So you're just going to want to make yourself a fire making bow like I'm making right now. You need a handle and a rope. I've showed this in my beginner's guide video. Just a handle and a rope, and then you click create tool and you get yourself a fire making bow. You can also make a flint, which is just 2 cut stones, create tool, and you get yourself a flint. Alright, so I'm going to cut down this tree real fast. We're going to get ourselves these large leaves to cook our sand. And there we go. This is what the sand will look like when it's cooked. It will look very clear, pretty much like glass in real life. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more sand and cook it up real fast, and we'll get ourselves some more glass. Now that I've got plenty of glass, I'm going to place one of them down, get myself my oil out that's been filtered, and then I just need a handle. So I'm going to get myself a tree stump, and then I'm going to get that out and then click it, and then click create item and get myself just a handle, not medium, not large, just a handle. And then getting that out of my backpack, I got my 3 ingredients to get the lantern. I'm just going to go on my crafting menu, click the handle, click the oil, and then click glass. And then I'm going to click create tool. And I've got myself a lantern. The lantern is brighter than the torches, and it has a longer light duration. Because as I forgot to mention before, the light sources only have a certain amount of time before they burn out, and you do not want them to burn out when you're in the caves because it'll become very dark and you won't be able to find your way out. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, whenever there is a tool that has the word crude in it, there's basically another a better version of that tool. So, a crude oil filter, you can get a oil filter, which has a shorter duration and doesn't take as long to filter the oil. So if I come over here on Terrafix, there is these mud, or I suppose dirt piles of dirt, and they have little bits of clay in them. Now if I come over here and I forge them, I can make myself a oil filter using them. So the oil filter recipe is a piece of wet clay, 1 hemp, and 1 rope. So in order to use clay, we have to use a bucket to wet the clay. So we have to get our bucket out and then click the clay, and it'll turn more of a dark brown. And then if you go on your crafting menu, it'll show up as wet clay. Another wet clay recipe is a clay container, and it is a better water source than the bucket. It holds 5 extra drinks than the bucket. The bucket holds 10 drinks, and the clay container holds 15 drinks. The recipe is 2 wet clay in your crafting menu, and then click create tool, and it'll give you a clay container. So the next basic recipe I want to show you guys is how to make bread. Now it probably will get annoying killing so many bentos or Terrafix. So here is another basic source of food. So you're going to get yourself some wheat. You can find wheat on Terrafix, you can find it on Paradise, and then of course Spring Isle. As you can see, I am on Paradise Island, and I'm on the tiny little island chunk that's a little bit off of it. But basically what we're going to do to make bread, we need a mill. So we're going to build our first building. What you need to do is get your 2 tree stems out, click create item, and then click wall instead of a hole, because a hole is for ships and walls are for buildings. So I'm going to get myself 2 walls. I need 2 walls for this recipe. And then I'm going to need a large leaf, okay? So I'm going to forge that from here, this tree right here, and get myself another wall. Oh, but there is a storm outside, so I do not want to get rained on because it is acid rain. It takes away your health on the side next to the stats, underneath the stats. And basically to make a pavilion to protect yourself from the rain, you need 4 tree stumps, a large leaf, and you'll click create tool to get yourself a pavilion. And this is what the pavilion looks like. I'll place it down real fast. So it's basically got 4 legs and then our large leaves on top. It's kind of straightforward on how to craft it. And it looks like the storm is heading the opposite direction, so we will not be getting rained on. Back to our mill, we get our walls out real quick, and then I need another large leaf because I used my other one for the pavilion. So I'm going to get my large leaves back and basically place it down, click my 2 walls and then my large leaves. They'll show up in the crafting menu, and then you're just going to click create tool, and it'll give you 3 different things you can craft. You can craft a hut, a granary, and then a mill. We're going to need a mill to make bread. So I got myself a mill. I'm going to pull it out of my hotbar, and I'm just going to rotate it real quick by pressing R and then place it down. So here's kind of what the mill looks like. And then I'll just quickly craft the granary and hut so you guys can see what those look like as well. It is the same recipe as the mill. It's just 2 walls crafted by the 2 small tree stumps, create item, and then get ourselves a large leaves just by forging it from a tree. And then we just craft all those together, the 2 walls, the large leaves, create tool, and we can make a hut, granary, or mill. So here is what the granary looks like. It's got a little ladder up, and then you can basically just store items in it. It's really nice, though, if you have, like, tons of berries. You can just stick it in there, and then it won't just take up so much of your inventory. Now the hut is very similar to the pavilion. It just has walls instead of just being more open. And here's kind of what the hut looks like. Sorry about being off topic. Now let's get back to our bread. So you're going to get your wheat out that you foraged earlier. And an easy way to get all of one item out is basically search it up and then click the item. And as you're placing it down, push F and it'll drop all of that item that you have in your backpack. So I'm going to go on the crafting menu. I'm going to click 2 wheat and I'm going to click wheat bundle after clicking create item. And you can either get a wheat bundle or thatching. So wheat bundle is for bread and other pastries or like, you know, bakery kind of stuff. And then the thatching is for building. So once we've crafted all our wheat into wheat bundles, we can take our wheat bundles and just take them out using the same foraging skill as last time. So basically just push F when you click your wheat bundle and you can get all of them out. And then we're not going to craft our wheat bundles. We're going to click the drag button at the bottom and drag all our wheat bundles at the top of the mill. They have to go through this black bit at the top and they'll turn white, kind of like that. And you can just put all your wheat bundles into the mill. Now that we have all our wheat bundles in there, you'll notice they're all white. And if you ever over them, it says flour. So we've got ourselves some flour now. So I'm going to drag these out real quick. And I'll show you what the next step is to making bread. So the next step is to get your water source out. So your water bucket, your clay container, you're going to just get it out. And then you're just going to click the flour and it'll turn a gray color. So click all of your flour. And then if you look, it'll show up as dough now. With your dough, you're going to go back to your crafting menu. You're going to click one dough and you're going to click create item and you'll get uncooked bread created. So let's do that with all our dough right here. So the next thing we have to do is cook the bread. So basically we're going to get let me move these buildings so that we don't burn them. I'll place down my large leaves and then I'm going to get out my fire making bow, or you can get out your flint. And of course, you'll need to get out all your uncooked bread and place it on top of our large leaves that we're going to burn. So we're going to burn our leaves, and then your bread will turn this yellowy color, and that's how you'll know that it is cooked. And it'll say, when you forage it, bread. Foraging bread. Not uncooked bread, but bread. Now, when you go to eat the bread, remember we just click the eat/drink at the bottom of our hotbar. It'll just show up saying 1 portion. But when we eat it, we eat only 1 slice at a time. So the bread has multiple slices, even though it's saying just 1 portion. And it'll show as you eat it, half a slice of bread or a slice of bread. It'll show up differently as you eat it. Another useful tool I'm going to show you guys is the ladder. So say you want to climb up somewhere up high. To craft a ladder, you're going to need 3 tree stumps. And then you're going to click them in your crafting menu and click create tool and you'll get yourself a ladder. So I got 3 right here. I'm going to go on my crafting menu. I'm going to click each one and I'm going to click create tool. And there we go, I got a ladder. So it'll show up in your hotbar. I'm going to drag it down because I have so many items in my hotbar. Remember, it's just the squiggle. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's on your keyboard. It's a little squiggle line. Say I want to get up higher, but I only have 1 ladder. So what I can do is at the very top of your screen, you'll see this tab menu right here. You'll click buildings, and it'll show what you got. I got a raft and I got a ladder. So if I click that ladder button, or if I click my ladder just in-game, it will allow me, it'll highlight it blue. Okay, what you can do is click retool and it'll give you back your ladder in your hotbar. You can also delete your items in this tab and then also give your items, transfer it to other people so that they will own the building now. So I'm clicking my ladder and I click retool and then there we go, I got my ladder back in my hotbar. Another basic feature added to the game is storing your items. Now, if I die, I will lose all these items here. The backpack, of course, you do not lose your items. Your hotbar, you will. In the chat, you're gonna type /store with no spaces, and then a space, and then you'll type whatever item you want to store. So I could type /store stone spear, or /store space all. And there we go, I stored all my stuff. To get your stuff back, you type /take all, or you can do a specific item, /take stone spear, for example. And they'll show up right back in your inventory, your hotbar. On the topic of retooling, say I climb up my mill and I'm dropping my bread in the top, or my wheat bundles, and then I accidentally fall in. Now there's a way to solve this. Anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful as always. And I don't know what else to say. I guess subscribe if you'd like, so you guys don't miss out on more of these tutorials and guides. I will be posting more tutorials soon. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. And I shall see you another time. Bye!